Oh, okay, seriously, we're back. Kiki and I are back for video 3. And we gotta talk some facts today, guys, because obviously that is just a key part of the process. And some of these facts are like ancient history, just to kind of ease the mood as we're always trying to do and make sure that people understand that this is a process. That's what it is for most of us. Most of us forgot what the first prime number is. Some of you forgot what prime numbers are, period, much less what the first prime number is, because if I flat out asked you what is the first prime number in math, there's got to be a lot of you out there who would have immediately said that it was 1, but that's not true. There could be someone in the audience out there who's thinking it's 3, but that's not true, and that's what we're talking about. Some of this stuff, guys, it's like ancient history. It's stuff you got to review, and 2, by the way, is the first prime number in math. So that's the theme of today. Let's talk some facts. Let's get into some questions. Let's bust out our official College Board books again so that we can break down a few questions and really just show what some of the fundamental facts are that you do have to know for this test. All right, let's do it. Okay, first question of the day, guys. We're going to go right into the Big Blue book and jump to page 415, where we are going to see a very classic coordinate geometry-based SAT question that, according to the theme of the day, guys, really isn't something where you're going to do anything other than conventional math. Reading through the question, guys, from the beginning, in the xy plane above, the equation of line L is x plus 3y equals 12. Which of the following is an equation of a line that is perpendicular to line L? All right, this kind of math here, hopefully, guys, some of you are already remembering, and if not, who cares, because that's why we're reviewing it. You need to change the format of the equation they gave you to get y by itself. Whether you remember what you call this, guys, kind of like who cares, it's just a matter of practicality at some point, but that is where we're going to have to manipulate that initial equation and take it from there. So, that original equation again was x plus 3y equals 12. And I'm going to start moving stuff around here to make sure I get my y by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract x from both sides. As you guys might remember, when you write something like this, you always put the x term in front. So that's why I'll put the minus x now, plus 12. Divide both sides now here by 3. And one tiny thing that maybe is going to be helpful, guys, is remembering that if you want to, you could put an imaginary, or you can put the 1 that's kind of imaginarily there in front of the x. That might help here with the final rewrite, where you're going to now say it's negative 1 over 3x plus 4, since you're dividing that 12 by 3 as well. And when the setup is now in this place, that value in front of x is going to be our slope. And now I can do what I need to do to find my correct answer here. As you can see, guys, I'm jumping right to C, and then we'll reinforce the key fact, because the value in front of the x is always the line slope, and when lines are perpendicular, the flat out fact that you have to remember is that slopes of perpendicular lines have the relationship of being opposite reciprocals. So I take the opposite of negative 1 over 3, which is going to be positive 1 over 3. I'm going to flip that 1 over 3 over to positive 3. And my correct answer, therefore, must have a positive 3 in front of the x. No gimmicks to this question, really not a lot of maneuverability with how you want to deal with it, and as long as you're comfortable with taking these steps, you're going to plow your way through the correct answer of choice C. And this is definitely a type of question, guys, that you can run up against on the day of your real exam. Okay, so let's switch things up a bit, guys, and let's go from the coordinate geometry question we just did to one that is dealing more with some fundamental arithmetic. And another one where, bottom line is, there's nothing to do here except know a core piece of factual information. So the question on page 518, that's where we have now jumped to, and we are dealing with question 15, as you can see, is which of the following is equivalent to 1/2 of 23% of 618? And the main fact that you're being tested on here is the use of the word of, which on an SAT question will almost always end up translating into the operation of multiplication. Now, if you're thinking that of could be used for other things and other types of math, you are 100% correct. But for the purposes of the SAT, the cool thing is you can really flat out memorize it as I'm going to write out of as multiplication, and we're going to dive right now into the question. So, again, the question was asking us for the equivalent of a half of, so I'm going to write my times, 23%, which you have a few ways to write that. I'm going to go with the decimal version of 0.23, another times, and then 618, and I am definitely busting out a calculator now here, guys, because there's obviously no one who's supposed to be trying to do a calculation like this in your head or by hand. And my calculator very nicely is giving me the somewhat odd answer of 71.07, which is what my correct answer is going to have to match. And going right to the top, because there's kind of no reason to go in any set order here, doing 23% or 0.23 of, again, meaning times 309. Wonderfully, we've hit it on the first shot, and if for some reason we had not, that is so not a big deal, as we all know at this point, but A is our guy. If you wanted to be kind of extra careful and try out the other choices, you certainly could, but it would also make sense, as long as you were showing all your work, to feel great about the fact that you found it on the first shot here, and we are good to go. Alright, so not so bad, right? Another round of questions in the books, and it's important, obviously, guys, that some of these questions do just get crushed because you got the facts down pat, and we just kind of introduce some of the facts that are necessary to really beat this test down. And don't lose sight, though, of what we're doing, the whole big picture here with this three-part intro, with getting your mind right, with knowing you don't have to do every question, knowing some questions have to be done straight up, factually, like we just did, but not forgetting how important it is to be versatile and know that there's other ways to get questions done. So we're just scratching the surface. If you like what's happening, first of all, like what's happening, right? Like this video, subscribe to us, share the video with your friends. We want to empower as many students out there as possible because it sucks how many people just don't have good information and are struggling with this test for just no reason. So there's so many more videos to come, and you'll know because you're subscribing to the channel, and it's going to be amazing. We got videos coming up with reading as the focal point, with writing as the focal point, and we got a lot to talk about still with math. If math is what you're trying to really conquer, then stay tuned for the next level up, because we have all sorts of good information coming down the pike that you're going to want to hear. Thank you for watching these first few videos if you made it through all three, and be ready for the next round when it pops up soon. Okay, have a great rest of the day, guys.